Happiness myths that are keeping you stuck. This is so important to start the video with because there were so many assumptions that I had about happiness, which I mostly learned from other people, and I know a lot of people still think this way about happiness, which is what is keeping them in the rut of never understanding why they don't feel fully satisfied yet. Myth number 1, pursuing pleasure will make you happy. In our current quick fix culture of constant dopamine hits that we get from social media, it's so easy to assume that we're doing the comfortable, fun, happy thing by scrolling when we want to or ordering food when we want to because of the associated dopamine rush that we keep getting every time we do those things. While it feels so good in the moment, it is hurting you so bad in the long run. It's basically frying your brain. This is a form of dopamine burnout, which not enough people are talking about right now. This is when you're so addicted to those quick dopamine fixes, like having 40 tabs open, scrolling through 7-second TikToks, ultra processed food, notifications every 5 minutes, and always picking up your phone to answer them straight away. You are getting so much dopamine too fast. And not only that, you're getting it all from doing nothing, from sitting down, hitting a button, scrolling through another thing, watching another episode. But in reality, our system is supposed to work in a way that we get dopamine fixes through things that we learn, through things that help us grow, through movement. And now all of a sudden we're not. The whole system has been wired backwards. And because your brain has grown so accustomed to getting dopamine from these quick fixes like scrolling or from eating a bunch of fast food, when you actually sit down to do the tasks that should be giving you real dopamine, your brain doesn't know how to respond. It wants to stop working. When you want to sit down, you want to read, you want to study, you want to work, your brain isn't releasing dopamine the same for those things. That's why you feel so unmotivated all the time and frustrated that you can't do tasks in the way that you used to or the way that you're supposed to. And really, how are you supposed to feel happy at that? That the work tasks you're supposed to be getting done or the studying you really want to be good at isn't coming out because you can't produce it, because you can't sit down for long periods of time. Then you get frustrated with yourself, you hate that you're procrastinating, you're self-criticizing, and you label yourself as the type of person that simply can't get it done, therefore leading to long-lasting self-doubt and self-criticism. Myth number 2, happiness is a destination. Now, this was the trap that I fell into that I hinted at the beginning of the video. Myself, and I know many other people, imagine that once they arrive at a certain point in their life, whether it's settling down and having a family, hitting a certain career goal, acquiring a certain amount of wealth, I know is a big common one, the dream job, the ideal weight, the love of their life, that's when they're gonna get to this destination of happiness and everything's gonna feel great. But in reality, happiness isn't an end point like that. It is an ongoing journey. And it's completely normal for it to fluctuate through different seasons of your life, depending on what you're currently experiencing and going through. Basically, if you're trying to find the thing that's going to give you happiness or the experience, if you're trying to get to a place or destination in your life that you think will give you that fixed state of happiness, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment because that is nobody's normal. That's not how it's supposed to happen. Happiness is an ongoing process that ties into our current circumstances and actions. So instead, think of it as a state to approach each day with the decisions that you're making for yourself. But we'll go into that later. And that links into myth number 3. Happiness means feeling good all the time. Absolutely not. You are here living this life because you are meant to experience the full spectrum of human emotions, and you are going to experience those daily, weekly. To deny yourself that in itself is part of the journey of experiencing happiness. If you never experienced any other emotion, you wouldn't feel the euphoria of what it's like when you do experience joy. I think it's really important to reframe happiness as a skill. Like, think about how happy you feel when you've overcome some sort of adversity or when you've overcome a negative emotion or a negative phase in your life. It's like the two literally go hand in hand. So don't knock down one in pursuit of happiness when they really connect. You gain so much happiness just from the experience of learning how to navigate your ups and downs in life. And myth number 4, happiness should be pursued above all else. Now, this was a trap that I fell into and something that I believe to be true. I thought the purpose of life is to be happy, so I should just put all of my effort into trying to be happy. But there are various studies that have actually proven this fact to be wrong. In reality, it's shown that the people with long-lasting, authentic, rich happiness are actually people who organize their life around their goals, around their relationships, their hobbies, meaningful and engaging experiences, rather than directly trying to chase happiness itself. And I actually think this is so nice because it's freeing you from needing this one thing and this one emotion, and instead showing you that just pursuing your life as normal gives you happiness along the way. And I'll give you a really good example of this. Every single week I write a script for my YouTube videos, for example, like the one I'm filming right now. And before I sit down to film these scripts sometimes, I feel bored. I don't want to do the work sometimes. I want to go do something else. I might feel overwhelmed that I have to think so hard for a couple of hours to produce a really good piece of work because I want to provide value to my audience. Sometimes it feels a little bit too much and I can't be bothered to put the work in. If I was focused on chasing happiness, I would avoid the task and not do it at all. While it feels a little bit uncomfortable and stressful while I am doing it, the happiness I feel once I've written it, once I'm reading it back, once I'm realizing how good the script is and how proud I am and how much I can't wait to share these facts with other people, then I film it and put it out and see how people are engaging with it, I experience more happiness than ever. But I had to sit through the discomfort and the initial boring process to get there. I had to go through the experience of building it and the experience of life to experience happiness along the way on that journey. Chapter number 2, mindset shifts for happiness. Before we get to the actual actions that you can implement into your routine and your life at the end of the video, first I want to talk about how we can rewire our beliefs, how we can work on the way that we think, because I think that is equally as important as whatever actions we are putting in. Mindset shift 1 is to learn how to fall in love with resilience. Because it's truly what life is about, growing through every experience, no matter how good or bad. Because even through our adversities, it's truly about the kind of person that we evolve into at the end of going through them. That's so magical and can give us so much satisfaction that we are constantly stepping into new versions of ourselves that are stronger and more resilient and more confident. Like I said before, happiness isn't about never having a bad experience, it's about the pride you feel after you've dealt with it. Going through something difficult and asking yourself, how can I grow from this? Or what did I learn from this that will show that my life is gonna change course now? Or I've learned lessons that will make sure I'll never be in this situation again. That itself is happiness. Knowing that you'll never be put in a situation like that again, or you're more well equipped for life after having gone through that experience. Mindset shift number 2 is all about arrival fallacy. Arrival fallacy is like what I said before. It's when people assume that happiness is a certain destination or goal, and like me, you equate 100,000 YouTuber subscriber plaque and milestone as the epitome of success and happiness, and then you get it, you realize that's not what happiness equals, and you kind of have to start all over again and finding what happiness actually is. And you've put so much pressure on it and you've put so much expectation on reaching that goal that when you reach it and it doesn't feel so amazing like how you thought it would, instead you feel so disappointed and so flat and sad. Arrival fallacy is like the people who will buy a mansion and a private jet and be a billionaire and then wonder why they still feel miserable. Yes, those things are nice, but none of them actually equal happiness. And so the answer is simple. The happiness is in the journey, not the destination. I have never experienced that sadness that I spoke about when I hit 100,000 subscribers ever again. When I hit 1 million, I felt so stable and so secure because I had learnt my lesson and I learnt not to attach happiness or satisfaction when reaching it. I congratulated myself and I celebrated myself, but I don't try to find happiness in those things anymore. Instead, I find so much joy in the journey to actually reaching it, in recognizing where I started and the hurdles I overcame and the qualities and personality traits I had to adopt in order to get to where I am today. That's what gives me happiness, the journey to becoming the type of person who could have achieved that goal, not the goal and not the thing itself. And the last mindset shift is actually something I learned really, really recently that is changing my life, and that is stop ruminating on the past and shift into future self-thinking instead. I've identified a certain pattern in my life, which is every time I'm busy or I can keep my hands busy or I have an action or I have something I'm passionate about that I can dream about and think about and focus on and aspire to do something, there is no space left in my brain to think about the past, to cringe at embarrassing things I did, to wonder about people that I knew years ago. Because I'm so passionate and I'm so motivated and I'm so tunnel vision on where I want to be and building right now in the present moment to get there. But I found when I have too much free time, when I'm procrastinating, when I said I was going to do something but all day I'm kind of wandering around the house and not actually doing it, because I definitely have days like that, that's when weirdly my brain just gives me flashbacks randomly of the past. I didn't ask for them. I was not trying to think of them, but my brain is showing them to me like a movie, and I'm so confused because why am I thinking of scenarios and things that I have no care in the world for? Then, because it's in my brain, I'm ruminating on it. It's causing this spiral where I'm thinking of other scenarios that happened also at that time in my life, and then I can't get it out of my brain. And this always happens when I'm not being productive. And when I say productive, this doesn't need to be work. This doesn't need to be like sitting at your desk for 10 hours a day. It could be getting lunch with your partner. It could be calling a friend and seeing how they are. It could be doing a hobby and something you enjoy. It could be pouring into yourself. It could be doing your self-care, literally anything, okay? Having a bubble bath is something that is feeding your mind and your soul and your peace. But just sitting around or scrolling and wondering what you're gonna do next without actually being busy and taking action on your life, on your dreams, on yourself, is when your brain craves the familiarity and the comfort of your past. Why? Because with your past and ruminating on it, your brain knows exactly how the ending is. That's why it loves to ruminate on it. That's why it loves to play back those moments to you. It's weirdly comforting and entertaining to replay the past and think about the what ifs and to analyze it. But that experience itself is so low vibrational and not good for you at all, and is not contributing to your growth or where you want to be in your life whatsoever. What's really helped me is anytime I feel like my brain is going there, I'm like, what can I do right now that's actually going to feed into my peace and my joy and put me in a higher vibration? Do I want to bake something? Do I want to draw? Do I want to spend time with a loved one? Or do I want to get some work done? All of those experiences, because I'm achieving something in the process, whether it's making a cupcake or having some good conversation with my friend or building a skill towards my goal while I'm working along on my desk, it makes me happy because I'm growing in the process and I'm achieving something and I'm getting a little bit closer to who I've always wanted to be and the life I've always wanted to live. And finally, chapter number 3, actions to be happier, aka the homework chapter. These are all a bunch of actions you guys can start implementing today to put everything I've said in this video actually into practice. Keep your hands busy, like I just said, and do real, trackable, physical things. Action number 1, my favorite, because I've been doing it so much recently and I can feel the change already. Anchor your days in meaning, not your mood. I used to be the kind of person, like I thought the most self-loving thing I could possibly do was like wake up every day and be like,
how do I feel? What I want to do?
And don't get me wrong, on certain days where maybe you're feeling a bit slower or run down or you need your self-care, that is a great way to approach things. But every single day, yeah, no. Instead of chasing how you feel, chase what your values are, chase what you believe in, chase what you want to be instead, and then do it. Put the action in regardless of how you're feeling, because listen, I know you can relate to this. So many times I've said, I don't want to go to the gym, I can't be bothered, and then I go and then I feel fantastic after I do it. Because it's like, oh, I showed up for myself and I contributed and prioritized my health today. And I took care of myself today and I did the hard thing because it was good for me. I feel amazing. Like that right there is real happiness. It just goes to show, like, the initial discomfort, that's kind of part of the journey to achieving the happiness. Action number 2, journaling has been proven by multiple studies to boost happiness. You can journal in a plain notebook or you can try a guided journal. Like I said, I've got my own business. You don't have to use this if you don't want to. I journaled in a plain notebook for years, but then I started drawing out my own template of how I wanted to journal, which is what my growth journal includes. So it's completely up to you and just deciding what is going to best suit your needs. Regardless, I think everybody needs to try it at least once. It will change your life. It's been proven to change your life and it changed mine. I've been doing it for 5 years. Yes, you are going to go through seasons where you're going to be a little bit more consistent or you're going to fall off and you won't. Regardless, it's not a reason to quit. There are also so many ways to journal, whether it be Googling prompts online to journal or whether it be manifestation journaling or just writing a few things you're grateful for or just keeping a diary of what's happened in your day. I think that's so cute. It's like a little time capsule that you can read. I actually have a basket up here that's filled with about 4 or 5 journals from the last few years, and sometimes I read them and it's like I'm literally transported back into that day, and it's so nice to see how far I've come. It's cute. While it is also a nice time capsule, just writing what's happened in your day is such a good way at releasing and letting go, so you're not harboring any feelings and you're not leaving anything unprocessed that then can build up and stress you out for the next few days. My personal favorite way to journal is identity work, belief rewiring, making my subconscious work in a way that favors me and helps me manifest my goals. That is why I use both the growth and the manifestation journal. Right now, my absolute favorite is the manifesting because we're in winter arc, so I'm like going so hard on my manifesting. But if you're just starting with journaling, and especially if you've got a lot of goals, I'd recommend the growth journal because that will allow you to track your actions, your progress, write down your goals, keep a checklist and keep accountability. Whereas manifesting is all about doing the identity work, self-concept, and changing your mind not worrying about what actions you're putting in. Action number 3 is keep growing and keep learning. Regardless of what it's about, it doesn't need to be studying, it doesn't need to be work, it can be a hobby, it can be something you're so passionate about, but this is what humans innately desire to do. So we need to keep feeding into it. Learning a new skill, keeping your hands busy, creating something, working on a meaningful project, all of these, time and time again, have been proven to build you high levels of happiness and fulfillment. And that personally is why I fell in love with self-development when I was like 13, 14 years old, and why I still speak about it on the internet today. I could have said I was done years ago, but I just love the process of it. I love who I'm becoming. I love all of the alter egos I've had. I love teaching myself skills that I thought I would never have, because I used to be a really shy, quiet, introverted girl, but I've adopted so many skills on this journey that make me feel so good about myself, because it really goes to show when I put my mind to something, when I feel I need something to propel me into the kind of future that I want, I can do it, because I have so much evidence that I have been able to do it.